output they're expecting or not. So this goes into equity theory. Individuals compare their job with inputs and outputs of those of others. Okay, so you're going to look at your colleagues at your organization. Are they getting the output based on the input they put in compared to yours? You're going to compare. We as engineers run in packs, right? We're going to know other engineers at other companies. What are they getting to do at that place? Sure seems like they treat their engineering staff better than they treat them here. Right, so there's comparisons going on all the time, agreed? Within your organization, with your friends outside. Many of you are going to make friends here at Lamar that are going to last a lifetime. People you're going to keep up with the rest of your life. With Facebook and LinkedIn, all that stuff you have now, you'll be able to keep up with your friends in this class forever. What are they doing? What's going on with them? So we're going to compare ourselves all the time. So we have some choices. I might change what I'm putting in. I might slack off. Or I could maybe, management maybe change the outcomes. I could change my perception of myself or my perception of others, choose a different person to compare to, or leave the organization. Have you ever thought that, I'm not very good at this, my situation is bad, and then compare yourself to some other person in some other situation as a different comparison and realize you really do have it good, and you really have a great situation. Everybody know what I'm talking about?
Attitude.
Yeah, and that's what they're getting at. Am I going to change my comparison? Am I going to change my perception of myself? You think that a friend of yours has got a great job somewhere else, but the more and more you talk to them and realize their job isn't any better than yours. They have their own headaches, their own things they're not happy about. They got more pressure to produce work than you do, but they're only getting paid a little bit more. But the amount of pressure they're getting under is 3 times the amount. So that's what they're kind of getting at. Strive to maintain equity. What's that basically saying? It needs to be fair. Okay? You've probably been in classrooms taking classes where you perceived that the governance of grades was not fair. Yes? Yes. And that's a horrible feeling. Agreed? And I've been there, you've been there, and that feeling of non-equity is really something you have to avoid as a manager. If people feel like you're paying favorites, then it's a bad situation. Okay. Okay. A lot there we've talked about already. Procedural justice. A few more things we're going to get out here for tonight. A process theory about work motivation that focuses on workers' perception of fairness of the procedures used to make decisions. Is the process of evaluation fair? You think about, I know in the United States, first week in November, what do we usually have? Elections. And there's a perception, at least I think among the common population, that process is fair. Everyone's vote counts just as much as someone else's. There's an equal amount of, everyone has access to voting, as long as you're a citizen. And that one vote is not more important than another. Okay? So that if the process of voting is perceived to be not fair, people will uprise and revolt. Yes? Now, you've seen that across international locations where they perceive the voting process not to be fair, and they have revolted as a result. And that will happen in your organization if they perceive the decision-making not to be fair. Same thing in a classroom. So, worker perception is key, not just the reality of the process. So they have to understand the process itself needs to be fair, but the employee's understanding of the process also is very important. The process could be fair, and everyone thinks it's rigged. They think it's not fair, and what they think is what's going to prevail. So you might have to explain the process to them, give training, give demonstrations, whatever it takes, so they understand the process is fair as much as possible as you can tell people about it. Okay, some factors that are important in this theory. Distribution of outcomes and the explanation of the decision. You can think about a decision that's happened in your life that was not favorable, but the explanation was plausible. Then your perception of the process is good. If those decisions that are not favorable, that was not explained to you. How did I get this test grade? How did I miss that question? Why is my project not very good? If that process isn't explained to you, then your perception is, this was not fair. Okay? So there are, and this is where communication's a problem for you sometimes. You got to communicate how the decisions were made. And now I'm not saying you're going to explain every decision to employees, because you're not going to. But I think you can understand the concept of what they're saying here. That, for example, I can think of one company I've worked with where the employees didn't understand how they got a bonus. They didn't understand all the variables that went into it. Well, now I'm perceiving the process not to be fair because I don't understand how it's assessed. And that would be a natural thing. And you start looking at the formula for the bonus. I didn't think it was that fair either. But someone had to sit there and explain it to me of what the variables were, what the multipliers were, and how they arrived at that number. I said, if you're having to explain it to a PhD, do you think the hourly people are getting it? Probably not. Right? It's not working. They don't understand how they're getting their bonus. They don't understand what's important to getting their bonus. This is just money found in the street to them. Really. They reached down and found $20. That's about as meaningful as it is to them. And they're probably saying it's not very much money. It's all they understand is this is a small bonus. Because they don't understand how the decision was made. So it's not effective. It's not accomplishing what you wanted to, which was motivate people. Agreed? Because people don't understand the process. So, lots of discussion questions, which we're not going to go through. That is our take on motivational theories. I know we're excited. The room is abuzz with anticipation of probably upset that we didn't have 50 more slides. Man, Ryan, why didn't you come up with 50 more slides? I just can't wait. But we all feel better, that we understand motivation better. And when the test questions come, we're going to be ready because they're not going to be applied. They'll be very much informational, which for this elite group of students should mean you get all those correct. All right.